Let me tell you something. Confidence is everything. And I'm not talking about the fake kind, the one where you put on a show acting like you don't care when deep down you do. No, I'm talking about real confidence, the kind that doesn't need validation because it comes from within. That's the type of confidence that makes a man sit up, take notice, and think, I can't let her go. See, men are wired to recognize value. And when a woman walks into a room with a sense of certainty about herself, with that effortless glow of someone who knows she is enough, without needing anyone to confirm it, she stands out. She doesn't beg for attention. She doesn't chase. She simply is. And that energy, that presence, it's magnetic. Now, let me be clear. Confidence is not about being the loudest person in the room. It's not about trying to prove a point or making sure everyone sees you. True confidence is quiet. It's the way you carry yourself. It's how you handle situations. It's in the way you speak, not rushed, not hesitant, but with a calm assurance that lets people know you mean what you say. A man feels that. He senses that. He senses that, and trust me, he respects it. But here's the thing. You can't fake it. You have to build it. You have to work on yourself in a way that makes confidence a natural extension of who you are. Because confidence isn't just about what you project to the world, it's about what you believe about yourself when no one's watching. And that starts with knowing your worth. Now, some of you might be thinking, but what if I don't feel that confident? Let me tell you, confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you cultivate. It's in the way you show up for yourself, the way you set boundaries and refuse to tolerate anything that doesn't align with the life you deserve. It's in the way you invest in your own growth, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, because when you do that, confidence becomes second nature. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who just seems so comfortable in their own skin that you can't help but be drawn to them? They don't need to seek approval. They don't shrink themselves to make others comfortable. They own who they are. That's the kind of energy that makes a man see you as the woman, not just another woman. See, a man can sense insecurity. He can tell when a woman doubts herself, when she's looking for him to complete her instead of compliment her. And let me tell you, no man wants that kind of pressure. He doesn't want to be your source of happiness. He wants to add to your happiness. There's a difference, a big one. So, how do you get there? How do you build the kind of confidence that makes a man not just want you, but need you in his life? You start by shifting your focus. Stop worrying about whether a man is going to choose you and start asking yourself, do I even want him? Stop trying to mold yourself into what you think he wants and start becoming the best version of you. Because when you do that, when you own your power, when you walk through life knowing that you are already enough, that's when a man realizes he can't afford to lose you. And listen, confidence is not about never having doubts. It's not about never feeling insecure. It's about pushing through those moments and standing tall anyway. It's about knowing that no matter what happens, no matter who stays or who goes, you are still you, whole, complete, valuable. Because here's the truth, a man doesn't commit to a woman just because she's beautiful. He doesn't commit just because she's kind or because she makes him laugh. He commits because of how he feels when he's around her. And when a man is with a woman who carries herself with confidence, who doesn't operate from a place of fear, who knows her worth, he feels secure. He feels challenged in the best way. He feels like he's in the presence of someone he cannot replace. And that's when he starts seeing forever. You want a man to beg to marry you? Then listen closely, because this right here is what separates a woman he dates from a woman he chooses for life. A man can find attraction anywhere. He can find beauty on every street corner. But do you know what he can't find just anywhere? Emotional security, a safe space, a woman who makes him feel understood, accepted, and at peace. Not just when things are good, but when life gets real. See, the world doesn't teach men how to deal with their emotions. From the time they're boys, they're told to be strong, to toughen up, to hold it all in. Society tells them they can't be vulnerable, that showing feelings makes them weak. But let me tell you something. A man wants to be able to let his guard down with the right woman, not in front of everyone, not in front of just anybody, but in front of her. The one who sees him not just for what he can do, but for who he is. That's rare, but here's the thing. You don't create that space by forcing him to open up. You don't do it by interrogating him, by pushing him to spill his heart out on your timeline. No, you do it by simply being the kind of woman he feels safe with. A woman who listens without judgment, who doesn't weaponize his vulnerabilities when things get tough, who doesn't make him feel small for having emotions. Because trust me, if a man has been conditioned his whole life to keep his guard up and you show him through your actions, not just your words, that with you, he doesn't have to, that's when he realizes, I can't lose her. Now, let me make something clear. Being his safe space does not mean accepting less than you deserve. It doesn't mean excusing bad behavior or allowing yourself to be a doormat. No, no, no. A woman who provides emotional security knows how to set boundaries. She knows how to communicate her needs without attacking his. She knows how to stand firm in what she wants without making him feel like he has to constantly defend himself. Because listen, a man doesn't need a woman who adds to the chaos. Life is already full of pressure. He's already dealing with expectations from work, from family, from society. The last thing he wants is to come home to someone who makes him feel like he's failing. What he needs is a woman who reminds him that he's enough, even on the days when he doesn't feel like it. A woman who challenges him to be better without making him feel like he's never good enough. That's what makes him stay. That's what makes him commit, not out of obligation, not out of fear, but out of choice. See, when a man feels safe with you, everything changes. He starts to open up in ways he never has before. He starts to share parts of himself that he usually keeps locked away. And that's the moment you know you've reached him in a way no one else has. But let me tell you something else. You have to be solid within yourself first. You can't give emotional security to a man if you're constantly seeking it for yourself. You can't be his peace if you don't even have peace within. That's why you have to do the inner work. You have to be secure in who you are so that when he comes to you with his struggles, you don't take it personally. So that when he has a bad day, you don't make it about you. So that when he needs space to process his emotions, you don't panic and assume he's pulling away. Because a confident, secure woman, she knows that giving a man room to breathe doesn't mean losing him. It means strengthening the bond between them. And let me tell you something. When a man finds that kind of woman, when he feels that kind of emotional safety, he's not going anywhere. Because he knows deep down that he'll never find another you. You want to know the difference between a woman he likes and a woman he can't live without? It's in the way she carries herself. It's in the way she moves, the way she speaks, the way she feels when she walks into a room. It's in that feminine magnetism, that quiet, effortless pull that makes a man stop, look, and think, I need her in my life. See, there's a power in femininity that a lot of people overlook. Some mistake it for weakness, as if being soft, being graceful, being in tune with your emotions somehow makes you less. But let me tell you something. True femininity is one of the most powerful forces in the world because when a woman owns it, when she understands the strength in it, she becomes unforgettable. Now, I'm not talking about just looking good. Beauty is everywhere. A man can see a beautiful woman on social media, at the gym, at the grocery store. That's not what keeps him up at night thinking about you. No, what makes him obsess is the way you make him feel. The way your energy makes him want to be around you more, want to impress you, want to claim you before someone else does. It's the way you smile, not just with your lips, but with your eyes, like you know a secret the rest of the world hasn't figured out yet. It's in the way you speak, not in a rush, not trying to prove anything, but with a calm certainty that makes him lean in and listen. It's in the way you move, how you carry yourself like you're already the prize, because you are. And let me be clear, this isn't about playing games. This isn't about pretending to be someone you're not or putting on an act to keep a man interested. No, this is about owning who you are fully and unapologetically. Because when you do that, when you truly embrace your feminine energy, you don't have to chase a man. He will come to you. He will pursue you. He will work for you, not because you're making him, but because he wants to. See, men are drawn to a woman who makes them feel like a man, a woman who doesn't try to compete with him, but instead compliments him. A woman who challenges him, but does it in a way that makes him step up, not shut down. A woman who is soft when she needs to be, but firm when it matters. That balance, that's what keeps him coming back. A man doesn't want to be controlled. He doesn't want to be dominated. He wants to be inspired. And nothing inspires a man more than a woman who knows her worth, who lets him lead when it's right, but who also knows when to stand her ground. But here's the thing, you can't just act feminine. You have to feel it. You have to cultivate it. You have to understand that being in your feminine energy isn't about dressing a certain way or talking in a soft voice. It's about being present, being confident, being comfortable in your own skin. It's about embracing your emotions instead of suppressing them, about being expressive instead of closed off. And most importantly, it's about knowing that you are the prize. Not in a way that puts others down, not in a way that says I'm better than you, but in a way that says I know my value and I will not settle for less than I deserve. Because when a man meets a woman who moves like that, who lives like that, he knows he's found something rare. And the last thing he wants to do is let another man get to her first. You want to know the kind of woman a man begs to marry? It's not the one who argues over every little thing. It's not the one who makes his life more stressful. It's the woman who brings him peace. The woman he looks at and thinks, no matter what happens out there, I know I'm good when I'm with her. Because let me tell you something. Life is already hard. A man is already dealing with pressure every single day. He's handling expectations from work, family, society, even himself. He's got battles to fight that you don't even see. And when he comes home, the last thing he wants is another fight waiting for him at the door. Now, don't get me wrong. This doesn't mean you have to walk on eggshells. This doesn't mean you have to hold back your feelings or ignore things that matter to you. No, that's not peace. That's suppression, and that's not healthy either. What I'm talking about is knowing how to communicate without tearing him down, knowing how to handle conflict without making him feel like he's constantly under attack, knowing how to love him in a way that makes him want to run to you when life gets tough, not run away from you. Because a man will go where he feels safe, where he feels appreciated, where he feels like he can breathe. You ever see a man in a relationship where he just looks drained? Where he's always tense, always guarded, like he can't relax? That's not the look of love. That's the look of a man surviving instead of thriving. And that's exactly why some men hesitate when it comes to marriage, because they've seen too many relationships turn into battlegrounds instead of sanctuaries. But when a man meets a woman who makes his life easier, who brings him calm instead of chaos, who understands him instead of just reacting to him, that's when everything changes. That's when he starts thinking, I can't lose her. I need her in my life forever. See, being a man's peace doesn't mean you never disagree. It doesn't mean you never challenge him. A strong, confident woman knows how to stand her ground, but she also knows when to fight and when to let things go. She knows how to bring up issues without turning them into full-blown wars. She knows how to listen just as much as she talks. And most importantly, she knows that winning an argument isn't as important as winning together. Because let's be real, some women think keeping a man means keeping him in check, always correcting him, always questioning him, always making him feel like he's never doing enough. And you know what that does? It pushes him away. It makes him feel like he'll never be good enough for you. So eventually he just stops trying. But a woman who brings peace, she inspires a man to be better, not by forcing him, not by nagging him, but by believing in him, by trusting him, by making him feel like he has a partner, not an opponent. And here's the secret. A peaceful woman isn't peaceful because her life is perfect. She's peaceful because she's done the work on herself. She's not reactive. She's not always looking for a fight. She's not carrying past trauma into every conversation. She's learned how to handle her emotions so she doesn't let small things turn into big problems. Because let's be honest, sometimes it's not even the big things that break a relationship. It's the little things that pile up over time. The constant complaints, the unnecessary arguments, the negative energy. And when that builds up, it drains the love right out of a man's heart. But when a man knows that the woman he's with is his safe space, when he knows she's not going to turn every mistake into a crisis, when he knows he can come to her with his problems and she's not going to judge him, but support him, that's when he starts thinking about forever. That's when he stops considering marriage and starts planning for it. Because ladies, let me tell you, being beautiful will get his attention. But being his peace, that's what makes him never want to let you go. You want to know what makes a man look at a woman and say, she's the one, I need her in my life forever? It's not just how she looks. It's not just how she makes him feel. It's the fact that she challenges him in a way no one else ever has. A man may be drawn to beauty, but he stays where he is inspired. A woman who makes him think bigger, do better, and rise higher is a woman he cannot walk away from. And this isn't about nagging him, trying to control him, or turning into his personal coach. No, it's about being the type of woman who naturally elevates his life just by the way she carries herself. See, a man might not always say it, but he craves growth. He craves purpose. And when he meets a woman who not only supports his vision, but also pushes him to reach it, he knows she's different. He knows she's valuable because he realizes she's not just here for the good times. She's here to help me become the best version of myself. Now, let me tell you something. A weak man will be intimidated by this. A man who isn't ready for growth will feel threatened by a woman who has standards, who expects him to step up, who doesn't just sit back and accept the bare minimum. But a strong man, a man with ambition, with drive, with the desire to build something real, he will crave that. He will see your value and he will fight to keep you. because there's a difference between a woman who just exists in a man's life and a woman who elevates it. A woman who just exists will accept anything, tolerate anything, settle for anything just to keep the relationship going. But a woman who elevates a man's life, she's not afraid to say, I expect more. I see your potential. I know what you're capable of. And I won't let you play small. That's the kind of woman a man commits to. That's the kind of woman a man builds with. But let me be clear, this doesn't mean trying to fix a man. It doesn't mean forcing him to be someone he's not. A man has to want growth for himself. Your job isn't to drag him to his potential. Your job is to be the type of woman who naturally challenges him to level up just by the way you live your own life. See, when you are constantly working on yourself, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you inspire him to do the same. When you have your own goals, your own vision, your own standards, he sees that you are not a woman who will tolerate stagnation. And that right there, that's powerful. Because a man wants to feel like he's earning you every day. He doesn't want a woman who just accepts the bare minimum. He wants a woman who sees his greatness even before he does and isn't afraid to say, I love you, but I won't let you stay comfortable. I see a king in you, and I expect you to act like one. And listen, this isn't about trying to be better than him. This isn't about competition. A strong woman doesn't compete with her man. She inspires him. She challenges him, not with demands, but with her presence. Just by being who she is, by holding herself to high standards, she makes him want to be better, do better, achieve more. Not for her, but because at the end of the day, a man knows that a woman like that doesn't need him. She chooses him. And that choice, that's what makes him step up. That's what makes him think, I can't lose her. I have to be the man she sees in me. And when a man finds a woman who brings out the best in him, not by force, not by pressure, but just by the way she moves through life, he doesn't hesitate. He doesn't play games. He commits because he knows that with her by his side, there is nothing he cannot accomplish. A man might be drawn to beauty, impressed by intelligence, and captivated by charm, but when it comes to choosing the woman he wants to spend forever with, there's something deeper he's looking for. He wants a woman who values herself, a woman who carries herself with a confidence that tells him she knows her worth. Because let me tell you something, nothing makes a man respect and desire a woman more than seeing that she respects and desires herself first. See, there's a difference between a woman who wants a man and a woman who needs a man. And let me tell you, a man will run from a woman who needs him to feel whole. He will enjoy the attention at first, sure. He may even entertain it for a while, but deep down, he knows that if a woman doesn't have a strong sense of self, if she's relying on him to fill the gaps in her happiness, her confidence, her self-esteem, that's not love. That's a responsibility. And no man wants to sign up for a lifetime of carrying someone else's sense of worth on his shoulders. But a woman who wants a man, not because she needs validation, not because she's afraid to be alone, but because she sees value in both of them building something together, that's different. That's powerful. Because that's a woman who's choosing him from a place of abundance, not lack. She's choosing him because she wants him in her life, not because she's afraid of what her life looks like without him. And a man feels that. He can tell when a woman is standing on solid ground, when she has her own identity, her own passions, her own joy that doesn't depend on whether he's giving her attention that day. That's the kind of woman who challenges him to be better. Because she's not afraid to walk away if he doesn't rise to meet her standards. Not because she's playing games, not because she's trying to control him, but because she knows she's worth more than half of confusion or inconsistency. Now, don't get me wrong. This doesn't mean acting like you don't care. This doesn't mean pretending to be so independent that you push love away. A woman who values herself doesn't fear love. She welcomes it. She embraces it. But she doesn't lose herself in it. She doesn't shrink herself to make someone else comfortable. She doesn't tolerate less just to keep a man around. She stands firm in who she is, knowing that the right man will see that and step up, not step away. Because let's be real, a man respects what he has to earn. And I don't mean playing hard to get. I don't mean making him chase for the sake of the chase. I mean a woman who naturally sets a standard just by how she moves through life. A woman who doesn't settle for empty words, for inconsistent effort, for anything less than a love that is clear and intentional. And listen, a lot of women lower their standards because they're afraid of losing a man. They think if I ask for too much, he might leave. If I expect too much, he might find someone else. But let me tell you something. If he will leave because you expect consistency, respect, and effort, then he was never going to stay anyway. A man who is truly serious about you will never see your standards as a threat. He will see them as a guideline for how to love you properly. But you know what happens when a woman doesn't have standards? When she tolerates disrespect, when she ignores red flags, when she accepts the bare minimum just to keep a man around, she loses herself. She becomes a version of herself that she doesn't even recognize. And let me tell you, the moment you lose you in a relationship, you've already lost him. Because men are drawn to women who have something to lose. Women who have a strong sense of self, a deep-rooted confidence that says, I love you, but I will not break myself to keep you. And let me tell you, when a man sees a woman like that, a woman who moves with grace, with confidence, with self-respect, he doesn't hesitate. He doesn't play games. He doesn't risk losing her by being inconsistent or unsure because he knows exactly what kind of woman she is. She is the kind of woman a man commits to, the kind of woman he builds a future with, the kind of woman he begs to call his wife.